This is Mrs. Poland for Algebra 2, Lesson 3.03. In this video, we're going to go over number 6 from the lesson. So, when you graph a polynomial, it's a 4-step process. The first step is to determine the end behavior, which I'm abbreviating as EB. Notice that our function is already factored, it's not in standard form. So we have to do a little bit of work to get the first term. To get the first term, you're going to, there's no coefficient to the left of that first parentheses, so you don't have to worry about that, it's just 1. But then what you want to do is take a look at the first term in each of the parentheses and also take into account the attached exponent. So x raised to the exponent of 3, and then you're going to multiply that by x raised to the exponent of 2. You keep the base and add the exponents, and you get x to the 5th. That tells me that the highest degree is 5, which is odd, and that our leading coefficient is 1, which is positive. And that tells me that the function is going to fall to the left and rise to the right. Step 2. So step 2 is when you want to find the x-intercept. In this case, it's already factored for you, so you don't have to worry about that. And what you want to do is set each of the factors equal to 0. X minus 2 cubed really means x minus 2, x minus 2, x minus 2. When we write it as x minus 2 cubed, it's just a shortcut. And to find the roots, what's the easiest way is just set the base equal to 0 and solve, and then determine the multiplicity, and the multiplicity is just the exponent. And that becomes really important, the multiplicity. When you have an odd multiplicity other than 1, it means that the function is going to hug the axis at that root. I'm going to do the same thing for the other factor. And we get the second root is negative 3. And since the exponent is 2, we have a multiplicity of 2. When you have an even multiplicity, 2, 4, 6, 8, and so forth, the function's going to be tangent at that root, or it's going to kiss the x-axis at that spot. We're on to step 3. Step 3 is where you find the y-intercept plus. And what I mean by plus is any turning points, either a maximum or minimum point. So to find the y-intercept, just set x equal to 0 and evaluate. So 0 minus 2 is negative 2 cubed is negative 8. 3 squared is 9. Negative 8 times 9 is, whoop. I don't know why it's not writing for the second. There we go, negative 72. And now let's go into GeoGebra and enter the equation. I just have to add an f of x in front. Okay, and in order to see this, it's hard to get a good look of the function. So notice how it's, as you're going from the left, it starts out from below. It's tangent or kisses the x-axis at the root. And then we need to find that minimum point here. Here's the hug. And let's find that minimum point. So click on it, and we see that the relative minimum point is -1, -108, and that's the only turning point that function has. So the relative minima is -1, -108. And now we're ready to graph that function. So we're going to first graph the x-intercepts. So -2, not -2, -3 and 2. And then the next thing we're going to do is graph the y-intercept, which is -72. So that's about here. And we're going to graph the relative minima, which is -108. So maybe that's down over here. And let's start graphing that function. I'll graph it in blue. So it's always graph from left to right. So starts low, bounces at -3, passes through and turns at -1, -108, and then it's approaching -2, and it hugs the x-axis and then rises again. Make sure you have arrows on both, and also label that minimum point. So -1, -108. And that's how you graph that function.